Hey, welcome fellas to this series of learning HTML and CSS. Today we will have a look at tables in HTML. We can add tables in HTML using the table tag. It is important to note that HTML table cell elements are neither a block level element nor an inline element. On the contrary, HTML table elements have a display property set to table cell, which is what makes them special. Let us try creating the above table in HTML. As you can see, this table has 4 rows and 3 columns. This is the first row, the second row, the third row, and the fourth row. And we have 3 columns, namely first name, last name, and the age. Now let's begin coding. We first open the table tag. Now we have to write the first row of cells. To define a row, use the tr tag that stands for table row. Within the table row markup, we use the th tag to specify table headings, which are actually column names here. Cells created using th tags are by default bold in color and have the CSS text align property set to center, meaning the text inside them is centrally aligned inside by default. So we define 3 table headings. Now we create the next table row by specifying another pair of tr tags. We create the next table row cells using the td tag, which stands for table data. The td cells do not have the default styling of the th tag. We create 3 td cells as each row contains 3 columns. Now we copy paste the above created row 2 more times in order to create 2 more rows. Now we change the content inside them. Hit save. As you can see, the table is created. However, it doesn't have a border around it. So let's add a border. To add a border, we simply apply border to the table. Save the file now. We see that the border is applied only around the table and not inside. So we apply a border to the th and the td tags as well. Save the file again. We see that the border gets applied, but there is a double border. To fix the double border, we apply a CSS property of border collapse to collapse inside the table tag. However, the width is not sufficient. So we apply the width attribute to set the width of the table. We save again and we get the required result. It's important to note that since the table cells have a display property of table cell, which is different from display block, we cannot set the width of a table cell directly. However, sometimes we do need table cells of different width. HTML does not directly offer the feature to set width, but we can surely merge cells together in HTML. In order to merge cells in HTML, we use the call span and row span HTML attributes inside the td tag. Row span and call span attributes take in the number of cells we need to merge. Let me demonstrate it using a Word document. So we create a 4x4 table in MS Word. We now fill the table with zeros as our sample table data. Let me pull this down. Now let us create a similar table in HTML. To create same 4x4 table, I put zeros in all the cells. Next, I need a tr tag. I'm going to create a td. Every td has 0 as an information. Copy and paste it down a couple of times. I add the necessary width and height to the table by using the width and height attributes. As you can see, the table is created. Now what I want is I want to merge these 4 cells. To merge these 4 cells in Microsoft Word, what we do, we select first 4 cells, then we right click and say merge cells. You can see that it has merged the cells and it has put 0, 0, 0, 0. I don't need these additional zeros, so I put in 1 0 as you can see, and it has merged all the 4 cells. At the first cell, it got stretched to the 4 columns and it has removed the second, third, and the fourth cells. Try to understand that we are going to perform the same operation, the same thing in HTML. What we do is we go to the first row, first cell, we are going to stretch it down to how many cells? 4 cells. How do we stretch it? We use the call span option since we want the cell to span multiple columns. Within call span, in double quotation, we need to specify how many columns it should span, that is 4 columns. Now we need to remove these additional td elements in the first row. As we can see, we get the same result. Similarly, we can merge the fourth row. HTML also allows us to merge table cells along the rows. That is, merge table cells vertically. In order to merge cells vertically, we use the row span attribute. The row span attribute takes in the number of rows you need to merge vertically. Try merging the second row, first cell with the cell under it using the row span attribute in HTML. Pause the video now and give it a shot. Hope you did try it out. Let's move on to the solution. So we go to the markup of the second row first cell and apply row span with the value 2. Now we need to remove the first cell in the third row from the markup. Hit save and see we get the desired result. Similarly, we can merge the second row fourth column cell with the cell below it using the row span attribute and delete the markup of the fourth cell from the third row. Now we want to merge all the cells in the middle of the table. To merge them, we use both call span and row span attributes together. Since the row span is set to 2, we need to remove the third row TD cells, leaving us with an empty row. Hit save. Now we adjust the height of the second row. See, we get the desired result. The layout we have created now is known as the Holy Grail layout. So this was all about the call span and row span attribute. Let us now see how we can give the caption to our table. In order to give a caption, we simply use the caption tag within our table element. See, it gets displayed. Table captions are by default displayed on the top of the table. However, we can surely change that behavior by applying the CSS property called caption side and set it to bottom. We can also set the text alignment using the text alignment align CSS attribute. It is also possible to add images to our table cells. For that, we simply have to place the img tag inside of the td tag. Now I have a fun challenge for you guys. Try making the following layout using tables in HTML. Feel free to use any placeholder image you want. Pause the video now and see if you could complete this task. Hope you were able to make it. Let's move on to the solution. As you can see, we have 9 different images distributed in 3 rows and 3 columns. But there is a catch. The images are not close to each other but are separated from each other. You might think that we can apply a margin between the table cells and get the required result, but sadly HTML does not allow it. Since the table cells have the display property set to table cell, we cannot apply a margin between the table cells as that would break the table. So how we could do it? We can't apply a margin here, but surely we can apply padding in order to space out the image from the table cell border. With these things in mind, I want you to revisit the task if you were unsuccessful. Okay, let me dive straight to the solution. So we create a 3x3 table and use the img tag inside the td tag. We adjust the height and width and apply padding. We hit save. See, we get the required result. We could confirm the padding in between using the Chrome developer tools via Ctrl+Shift+I and see we have the padding here. This was also one of the amazing layouts which we can create using tables in HTML. However, tables are an obsolete way to create page layouts in HTML. Instead, we should use CSS grids, Flexbox, or any other CSS front-end development framework to create our web page layouts. So this was all about tables in HTML. In the next video, we will discuss lists in HTML. I hope you are enjoying this series. Do subscribe to my channel, like this video, and tell me how you feel about it in the comment section below. Till then, happy coding.